Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're talking about episode 7 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds entitled The Serene Squall. This was our episode that kind of went back to the original series episodes where on a number of regular occasions the Enterprise would get taken over by an invading force. It happened all the time. Security was really bad on the Enterprise under Kirk. We had, at times, we had children taking over the Enterprise. We had Klingons taking over the Enterprise. We had augments taking over the Enterprise. It happened pretty regularly. And this episode kind of was a bit of a throwback to those old episodes of original series. We've got a bit of character and relationship stuff with Spock and T'Pring and Spock and Chapel. And we had the new character of Dr. Aspen, aka Captain Angel, introduced in this episode. It was a fun episode. It had a bit of action, it had a bit of humour, it had a bit of everything this episode. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, please don't be scared to do so. Click on that big red button to stay up to date and current with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. Let's get into our wrap-up and breakdown of this week's episode, The Serene Squall, episode 7 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The episode starts at the Vulcan Rehab Center where T'Pring's kind of making a phone call to Spock and they're having chat about sex books and Spock embracing his human side and Spock's all thoroughly embarrassed by this conversation. T'Pring just kind of, delivers it pretty much straight down the line, but you can tell the human side of Spock is kind of a little bit embarrassed by the conversation. And after a few little conversations which we've had previously in this season, obviously Spock is asking Nurse Chapel a bit of advice, a bit of relationship advice. These two have got a little bit of a friendship, but I think, as we knew in original series, there was a couple of episodes in original series where there was a little bit of romance or unrequited romance there between Chapel and Spock. More so, I think, from Chapel to Spock than the other way around. But nonetheless, it's nice to see that continuity is being explored in Strange New Worlds that, obviously ends up paying off down the road in the original series, even if it's in a very subtle way. We get introduced to this new character of Dr. Aspen that is a former Starfleet counselor. The character was non-binary. He had a husband and a partner and everything in the form of Xavier, which is the Vulcan that he wants sprung from the rehab center that T'Pring is in charge of. And we'll get to Xavier and his alter ego a little bit later in this review. I found it quite interesting in terms of the character of Dr. Aspen being a Starfleet counsellor and having a few conversations there with Spock in terms of him fighting with his, human and Vulcan side, saying that, maybe you're not one or the other. Maybe that's your problem, is you're trying to look too, digitally about this. You're not ones and zeros. You're something in the middle. You're not Vulcan. You're not human. You're a blending. So it's quite interesting that this notion is coming from the non-binary character. Shortly after heading into non-Federation space and getting caught in the laser net and captured on board the pirate vessel, the Serene Squall, Pike and crew and so forth held hostage on board the ship. There's some nice scenes in this episode. I got to say, some of the stuff that's coming out of our crew on Strange New Worlds in terms of our dialogue and our just sort of snappy banter and repartee, I'm actually finding myself smiling more and laughing out loud more with our characters on Strange New Worlds than I am in watching The Orville, which is obviously just started as well. The Orville's meant to be a sci-fi comedy, but there's been virtually no humour in Orville at all, and I'm actually finding I'm enjoying Strange New Worlds in terms of the humorous aspect of some of the characters in Strange New Worlds, even more. We had some fun banter with Erica and Pike on the bridge talking about blind dates and first bases and second bases and third bases, and then we've got Pike once he's held captive by the Orion boss of the pirates. Well, maybe not the number one boss, but maybe number two boss. And then we've got Pike offering to cook a meal because the Orion guy, Remy, I think his name is, is a really bad cook. Ironically, that he's named Remy, because if I remember it correctly, the rat in Ratatouille, the Pixar movie, was called Remy, and he was a really good cook. So it seems like Orion Remy is a really, really bad cook. And we obviously know that Pike is a very, very good cook. He puts on, dinner parties in his quarters on a regular basis. So he kind of stepped in and, improved the quality of the cuisine there on the ship for the crew. Won a few brownie points. Him and number one are putting into action their Alpha Braga 4 plan, which is to cause the crew to mutiny with each other so that they can take over the ship. There was some really fun stuff in this episode, I thought. There's a few really nice moments between Pike and number one and their history and missions and stuff they worked on before inside in this mutiny, and generally dealing with the less than stellar intelligence of the pirate crew. Obviously, our reveal, halfway or 2/3 of the way through the episode, where Dr. Aspen is revealed to be Captain Angel. I think that was a nice reveal and a nice double cross, and the complete change of personality to the very stereotypical moustache twirling, baddie, almost akin to like a Harry Mudd type character from original series. The actor who played the role was certainly having a great deal of fun. They were having a great deal of fun with the role in this episode, playing Angel, Captain Angel. It was a little bit cartoonish, but I think it was a bit of a cartoonish sort of episode, I suppose. So I think it was kind of in keeping with the overall kind of flavour of the episode. That was certainly an interesting spin on this episode, but not the biggest. The reveal at the end of the episode that Xavier is in fact a pseudonym or a fake name given to Sarek's illegitimate son that has rejected logic, also Spock's half-brother, and we have not seen this character since Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, and that's the character of Cybok. I honestly thought that Cybok would never see the light of day again. I honestly thought Cybok's going to be one of those characters that literally, they've buried under the rug, never to be spoken of again. But lo and behold, we have the return of Cybok in this episode, husband to Captain Angel, the devious space pirate. It will be very interesting to see what is in store for Cybok in future episodes. Are we going to get an episode where he comes into it a bit more? We've only got I think 3 episodes in the season left, so there's not too much time left, but I would be surprised if they dropped this reveal at the end of this episode and then we didn't come back to it in some capacity in a subsequent episode. But let's just hope that it's better than Star Trek V Final Frontier, because let's face it, I think out of all the original series feature films, Final Frontier number 5 is generally considered, I think, the worst of all of them. So, yeah. Let's hope it's better than that one. We obviously had Spike and Chapel doing the little ruse on the bridge to fake out Captain Angel and to pretend that their marriage is broken up and Spock's now with Chapel, so that basically Angel thinks that there's no bargaining chip there to be had, being able to leverage the release of her husband, which obviously turns out to be a misdirect, and obviously Pike and T'Pring get back together again at the end, which is expected, and T'Pring takes it all pretty well, but let's face it, I guess she's pretty emotionless. Needed to happen to put on the show to convince Captain Angel, and it seemed to work. But obviously Captain Angel escaped at the end in a ship, so I'm guessing that, there's going to be another attempt to break hubby Cybok out of prison sometime in the near future. I love the scene with Pike steering the big old-fashioned sailing boat style wheel of the ship whilst all the mutiny was going on behind them. So he's kind of trying to take back the Enterprise whilst the mutiny is going on in the background. It was a fun moment and some little nice glimpses of humour too throughout these scenes here with Pike and crew on board the Serene Squall. I can't understand though why Hemmer was in this episode. episode. What is the deal with Hemmer? We've barely seen him at all in this season. He's popped in for a few short glimpses, but he surely should have been part of the crew that was taken captive by the pirates, because he certainly wasn't in engineering when Chapel and Spock and Angel were in there. So yeah, I don't understand why they've sidelined Hemmer, because he's such a good character, and I want to see a bit more of him. Love the moment where Pike does his stereotypical "Yar pirate" impression on the bridge, you know, me hearties. I think that was a fun moment, and the way number one just said, just, please stop, like, just enough, I think that was cute. Again, more humour coming out of Pike in Strange New Worlds than it's coming out of Mercer in Orville at the moment. So, shape up your comedic game, Seth MacFarlane. I think you're being gazumped by Anson Mount, not only in the dramatic acting front, which, let's face it, that's Anson Mount's specialty, but you're also being gazumped by his comic ability at the moment as well. So yeah, take a note or two. All in all, I quite enjoyed this episode. I think it was a great hark back to the old TOS episodes where the ship got taken over by raiding parties all the time. So we got a nice bit of a flavour of that, bit of humour, bit of excitement and everything, bit of a few phaser fights, and some ship action there, getting caught in the laser net and everything as well. It's episode again, really strong episode. I think great to see the non-binary actor. I certainly think that was the character of Dr. Aspen / Captain Angel. Yeah, perfectly good addition to the Star Trek family under the heading of villains. Guys, leave me your thoughts in the comment section, what you thought of this episode. Leave a super thanks if you're able to. It really helps the channel out, much appreciated. And also check out my merch in the merch store, where you can pick up all my Star Trek merchandise, hoodies, mugs, caps, t-shirts, you name it, it's all there. There's always a sale going on. And I'll be back very soon with my next video. I'll see you guys soon.